Yeah. I got a story about this beast named Mortals, a real life pimp sitting on his throne full of poses. He got Mercedes Monet, the hottest in the game, and he's running shit behind the scenes. Son, you know the motherfucking names. Motherfuckers wearing a bull mask, looking like a damn bull, thinking with his balls, screaming like he's about to bust. He grunts like a beast, wild as hell in that crazy ass attire, probably screw Mercedes in that mask. Yeah, I said it, fire. He's a straight up pimp, no shame, no guilt, getting preferential treatment, hitting her with that sacrament like he's a king, a real deal. Just like Triple H when he slid into Stephanie's bed. Now they both run the fucking show, doing shit behind the scenes, dead. Mortals got that power, that juice, that favoritism flow. He's got Mercedes, that trophy wife on his arm, and the whole damn show's a joke, yo. They rolling in that luxury, chain swinging, flexing, while the rest of the roster's just pawns, man, it's just disgusting. He's wearing that mask, looking like a damn freak, like he's a bull ready to charge, or some kinky shit in the sheets. You know he's screwing Mercedes, they be doing it in that mask. I bet he's grunting like a caveman in some crazy fucked up task. That mask is symbol like a tool of the game, shouting I'm the king, I'm running shit, yeah that's the fame. He's a motherfucking player, a pimp, a savage, running through the system like some twisted dark magic. Y'all think Triple H was just a wrestler? Nah, he's a pussy whip fool, falling in love with Stephanie, now he's just some tool. Mortals doing the same, got Mercedes the queen of the scene, and AEW's just a playground, a fucking dirty magazine. They give him main event slots, kiss his ass, while real wrestlers grind, he's just a piece of trash mass. When you got that pussy, that model, that cash, you can do whatever the fuck you want, bullshit and laugh and stash. So let's toast to the beast, the king of the fake, running the game, making all the rules for Christ's sake. He's screwing the system, wearing that mask of shame, and seeing them be proud, cause this whole shit's a fucked up game. He grunts, he screeches, a cartoon nightmare, a bald-headed freak, probably screwing this some dark dive, yeah I swear. They got him taking bumps, getting special treatment, what a joke. He's a motherfucking legend, at least in his own fucked up folk. And I swear on my mama, I bet he's screwing Mercedes right now in that crazy mask, like some kinky fucked up vow. They're doing it in that ring of shame, while the rest of us just sit back laughing at the game. Yeah. Mortals, the pimp, the king of the fucked up scene, running AEW like a twisted obscene machine. And we all just watch, laughing at the insanity, while he's screwing everyone, what a fucked up vanity. Yeah, Mortals the pimp, the king of the fucked up scene, running AEW like a twisted obscene machine. And we all just watch, laughing at the insanity, while he's screwing everyone, what a fucked up vanity. We out to fucked up vanity, fuck up fans. Oh, well that's the pimp, the king of the fucked up scene, running AEW like a twisted obscene machine. And we all just watch, laughing at the insanity, while he's screwing everyone, what a fucked up vanity.
Good evening, assholes and angels. Tonight, I'm throwing down my thoughts on AEW Dynamite from June 25th, halfway to Christmas, and this episode felt like an early gift from the wrestling gods. Fast as hell and damn entertaining. The damn show flew by like a runaway train, and I gotta admit, I enjoyed the matches. They're finally announcing more bouts for AEW All In, but here's the rub. They're still only sticking with 5 matches on the card. That's a goddamn problem, folks. Now, let's talk about the potential shitstorm brewing. The Hurt Syndicate might be taking on Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. That's going to be an abomination. Because Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey look like a couple of high school freshmen who just discovered steroids and chaos. Tonight, they got tossed through tables like trash. They're not ready for Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley. Not by a long shot. And Lashley, the guy who lifted Mabel's 500-pound ass in WWE, struggling against these cruiserweights? That's a fucking joke. Then we got Mordos, the Beast, main eventing against Hangman Adam Page. And why is that? Because Mordos is the boyfriend of Mercedes Monet. That's why. It's some twisted friends with benefits bullshit. He's banging the hottest girl in the company, so he gets the main event slot. It's crazy, like a Beauty and the Beast nightmare. He's a beast, chained up in that goat mask and chains, and she's a goddess of the damn show. Honestly, I gotta hand it to Mordos pulling that off. He's a damn pimp. Tonight's show, It jetted by faster than a bottle of whiskey on a Saturday night, and that's a sign of a damn good broadcast. But don't get me wrong, AEW still suffers from the same old bullshit. Too many feuds are meandering in the shadows. Not enough to get me excited for All In. I see seeds planted. Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title. Thanks to Don Callis' family of bullies. Also, hints of Kanasu Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada locking horns after the pay-per-view. And maybe, just maybe, a little showdown between Mark Briscoe and MJF. Because Mark Briscoe deserves a push, and I'd love to see him get a shot. But here's where I get worried. Willow Nightingale might not have a match with Marina Shaffer. That's a shame, because Willow's got the talent, and it's better for her to stay the fuck away from WWE's pattern of using women as pawns. AEW either forgets about their women or pushes them hard just to drop the ball later. It's a cycle of bullshit. Overall, it was a damn good show. But if you look under the hood, it's the same old AEW problems, missed opportunities, weak feuds, and a roster that deserves better. Still, tonight's episode felt like a damn gift, fast, furious, and full promise. With a side of frustration, the show kicks off with Toni Storm walking into the arena, and what happens? Mercedes ambushes her. Fuck, yeah, I was hyped. Because too often, you see wrestlers stroll into the arena like they're heading to brunch, and it's predictable as hell. But this was a smart subversion, an unexpected attack right out of the gate. It's fresh, it's different. And Mercedes, she's pissed. She just won the CMLL championship in Mexico, celebrated with a damn cannon firing streams of red, yellow, and blue, like some fucking parade. And Toni Storm comes in and ruins her moment. So, a week after that Mexico show, Mercedes is coming back for blood. Vengeance. That's good continuity, and it's smart storytelling. People are pissed at Mercedes for laying into Toni in that heat. That's pure heel gold. It's the kind of shit that makes you want to see her get her ass kicked. Mercedes drags Toni out to ringside, and she's got that smug, spoiled brat attitude. You want to ruin my moment, you stupid little bitch? Let the games begin. I love Mercedes because she's playing the spoiled queen who wants all the shiny toys, winning all the titles, posing for pictures like she's a fucking queen of the universe. That's the sports brat mentality. She's not a competitor. She's a narcissist who cares about winning just for the ego boost. She'll defend her titles whenever she damn well pleases, stacking up 6 titles, going for a 7th, and ignoring the fact that she's hogging all the spotlight, leaving the women's division to rot because she's too busy with her own self-absorption. That monopolizing bullshit, that's what makes her a villain. No respect for anyone but herself. That's the dynamic now. Mercedes is a self-centered, title-hogging cunt who only sees herself as a star. And the crowd? They're eating it up. Then it gets announced for the main event, Mortos versus Hangman Adam Page. And I gotta say, that's a fucking terrible choice for the headliner. Mortos, the guy who's mostly a loser? That's weak. Instead of throwing him in there with real monsters, Swerve, Ospreay, Samoa Joe, they book him against Hangman? A guy who's just a mid-carder at best? That's a piss-poor main event. Honestly, they should have booked Hangman against someone like Josh Alexander, someone who's proven he can beat the shit out of guys like Mortos. Instead, they give us a guy who's mostly a punching bag. Like I said, Mortos is a pimp getting the sugar mama treatment. Like when I had my ex buy me groceries, let me use her parents' credit card, and I felt like a goddamn gigolo. That's the vibe here. Mortos gets the main event because he's riding Mercedes' coattails and Putang Pie the opening match? Well, Ospreay and Swerve Strickland versus Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. Jesus Christ, what a joke. Who the hell are Lee Johnson and Blake Christian? Lee Johnson's more known for ROH, and he's never won a damn match on AEW. Blake Christian loses every fucking match on Dynamite. They talk about him having a winning streak on Ring of Honor, but here, they're just filler. These two are out of their league. Ospreay and Swerve are former heavyweight champs, main eventers, heavy hitters. Meanwhile, Lee and Blake, they're like kids playing dress-up. I was hoping they'd do some hardcore bullshit, make it a handicap match, or at least give those two a fighting shot, something to make it interesting. But nope, they just let them get 2 counts, as if that's somehow a victory. Pathetic. The match drags on too long for these jobbers, and mid-match, what happens? The Young Bucks theme hits, out of nowhere, distracting Swerve and Ospreay. Totally out of place. It's like, hey, let's remind everyone we're still here, even though it's just a cheap pop. Then Blake Christian hits a 450 splash. Big deal. Ospreay responds with an Enzui-Gyri, and Swerve hits a buckle bomb, tossing Lee Johnson onto Blake. Ospreay hits a super kick, and then a brainbuster to Christian. Swerve hits his house call finisher, and Christian, yet again, loses like a fucking Brian Cage. It's a 2 out of 5-star crapshoot. Folks, they want to pop the crowd, but the opponents, they're not worth a damn. Ospreay grabs the mic and says, "We're sick of the power you're abusing." And then, he challenges the EVPs to a match at All In. If Swerve and Ospreay win, the EVPs lose all their VP powers. It's a decent idea, kind of like a power grab, a rebellion against the authority. Except I hate that Swerve and Ospreay are still way out of league compared to the Young Bucks. To make it more interesting, I do a street fight, something brutal, something that gives the Bucks a fighting chance. Hell, Maybe a handicap match, Nick Jackson, and Jack Perry versus Ospreay and Swerve. That a match worth watching, because the Young Bucks are great villains, cocky, arrogant assholes who think they run the show, versus two guys who genuinely care about the future of AEW. And imagine this. If Ospreay, Swerve, and Prince Nana win, they could become the new EVPs, have some fun with it. Like Austin running WWE, covering Vince McMahon's office with Cal Manure and beer. I'd love to see them screw around, make chaos. Maybe put Bryan Danielson or Sting in charge. Something crazy like that. Next up, the usual parade of bullshit. The Young Bucks, Okada, and the Don Callis family chatting. They say their goal is to hurt Kenny Omega and get Okada to walk out with the AEW Unified title. I appreciate the setup, good story, good continuity. But there's a plot hole. Why would Okada leave the EVP group when they're clearly the most powerful faction in the company? Makes no sense. They're teasing a Takeshita versus Okada fight, and the crowd responds like a fucking war. Looks like they're about to throw down, which is great. Then they set up a match between Kota Ibushi and Trent Beretta. Jesus Christ. Trent Beretta? That guy loses more than Donald Trump loses respect. If the Young Bucks had the power to make matches, hurting Kenny Omega's buddy Kota Ibushi, you'd think they'd bring out someone like Josh Alexander, a real monster, a guy who's actually intimidating. Instead, they stick Ibushi against Trent? That's laughable. Kota hits a missile dropkick, a standing moonsault, solid. Trent hits a thrust kick, running knee, and a pile driver variation, classic. Kota responds with dragon suplex, then a double foot stomp and a running knee. And what happens? Trent gets his cliche loss, just like the others. 2 out of 5 stars, because the storytelling is there, showing they want to give Kenny Omega's friend a hard time. But the opponents? They're shit. And the whole Callis family? They're just a bunch of losers, losing everyone, especially Ospreay and Omega. It's like they're hired to be the jobbers for the big boys, and that's gotta change. Then, out of nowhere, Okada challenges Kota Ibushi to a match next week at the AEW 300th episode. Great, but most fans don't even know who Kota Ibushi is. They could have shown some videos, some montages, familiarize the audience with their history. But no, they just throw it out there like it means anything. Bad booking, lazy storytelling. AR Fox gets interviewed and Ricochet, this smug little prick, starts talking about how he's looking for a tag partner. Like, he's some kind of genius, right? Then out of nowhere, Ricochet manipulates Fox into being his tag partner. Yeah, because nothing screams trustworthy like a guy who'd stab you in the back faster than you can say shitstorm. Ricochet's the kind of guy who'd smile while doing it, too. So they team up against Mike Bailey, who I'm calling Hong Kong Phooey, because he looks like that cartoon character with the goofy kicks, Karate Kid style, and a gimmick that's more cartoonish than a Saturday morning rerun. Mike Bailey's out there doing all these silly kicks, looking like he's auditioning for Karate Kid, and he's got that stupid nickname Speedball, a slang term for cocaine because, well, he's just as goofy and out of control. Anyway, Fox hits a 450 splash, then a double foot stomp on Kevin Knight, because apparently that's a thing now, and then a crossbody on Hong Kong Phooey. Standard stuff, right? Then these two clowns do a double dive on Fox and Ricochet, because nothing screams main event like two dudes jumping off the top rope like they're trying to kill themselves. Hong Kong Phooey then hits a running shooting star press, because he's the star of the circus, while Fox responds with low main pain. Yeah, you heard me right. Low main pain. That's the name of AR Fox's finisher. Dude needs to rename that shit. Call it Sesame Chicken Special, General Sal Powell, the Poo Poo Platter Splatter, or the Dumpling Dump, anything but low main pain. Honestly, that name made me hungry for Chinese food, and then Ricochet, that spineless little shit, just bails on Fox the second shit gets real. Fox gets double teamed, and just like Lee Johnson, Blake Christian, Brian Cage, hell, even my respect for my white savior dad, he eats the loss. Because that's the fucking pattern. Loser jobbers facing the baby faces and getting destroyed. Same tired garbage. Same predictable shit. Kevin Knight and Hong Kong Phooey then have the audacity to challenge the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW tag team titles at All In, and what do the Syndicate do? They beat the shit out of them, throw them through tables, and deliver the greatest one-sided ass-kicking since Dave Chappelle's When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong skit. I felt bad for the Hurt Syndicate, because Lashley once lifted Big Daddy V in WWE, 500 fucking pounds, and Shelton Benjamin can still go. They don't have any decent challengers when you look at the AEW tag team division. They could have done a great underdog versus veteran story if they kept the Acclaim together. You can't do the Don Callis family, because it will be villain versus villain. The Outrunners are obsessed with their 1980s crap. I don't remember who's in the conglomeration and who is in the Undisputed Kingdom, because those two groups are not consistently booked well as a faction, and you cannot do Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes versus the Hurt Syndicate Part 2 and Private Party is looking to suck the WWE's dick. The only decent matchup I see, the House of Black versus the Hurt Syndicate. Brody King and Buddy Matthews would be perfect. Brody got over in Mexico for wearing that Band Ice shirt, and people respect him for speaking out against injustices like ICE. Plus, He did a sick head scissors on Hechicero, impressive for a 300-pound motherfucker, just like Vader doing moonsaults. Power against power, Lashley versus Brody King, Shelton versus Buddy Matthews. That's a real fight waiting to happen. And Brody's never been a tag champ. Underused as hell. That'd be a nice reward for all the blood, sweat, and tears he's poured in. I'll do a whole video about why the Hurt Syndicate and House of Black need to clash. Mark my words. Then, surprise, Mark Briscoe comes out and shits all over MJF. I can't even bother with the genitalia jokes. I'm at work working on this review essay. Don't want HR knocking on my door. But I do hope they do a feud, because Mark Briscoe could do a lot of giving the right push. He's got that redneck Boomhauer voice that people love. And he's like a modern-day McFoley heart grit and scars that tell stories. That guy puts everything on the line. MJF, that spoiled little bastard, needs someone like Briscoe to knock him down a peg. It's announced that MJF is entering the Casino Battle Royale. Smart move, since his goal is to win the AEW title, and that's a perfect way to do it. It's like Money in the Bank, win, then cash in whenever the hell you want. That's good continuity. Easy path to the belt. Then they drop the bomb. Mark Briscoe's in a fatal four-way match. The winner gets the first spot in the Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale. You know how it works. 2 start, then a third, then a fourth, like the Royal Rumble, but with pinfalls. And if you're number 1, you got the advantage. Beat the second guy, and everyone backstage, they're locked out. No second chances, no bullshit, just survival of the fittest. My match of the night? The fatal four-way for first entry, Briscoe, Bandito, Roderick Strong, and Kanasuke Takeshita. And what a lineup. Strong grabs Briscoe, throws him into the barricade like a freight train. Bandito hits a cutter on Strong. Fucking awesome. Takeshita hits a top rope vertical suplex on Roderick. Impressive as hell. Then he hits a double suplex. Just brutal. Takeshita lifts someone, probably Bandito, and nails a Blue Thunder Bomb, one of the coolest moves in wrestling. Bandito hits the GTS, and then aces over Queens on Takeshita. Briscoe hits the Froggy Bow and pins Roderick. Surprise, surprise. This match? 3 out of 5 stars. Usually, Briscoe's a guy losing, so this was a nice change, subverted expectations. But Bandito? He shouldn't be in this match. He's ROH champ, and it's bullshit to see him look like a double champion who rarely defends his titles, pulling a Mercedes Monet. And Roderick? Why the hell is he in here? He loses all the time. It should have been someone like Claudio or Wheeler, guys who actually want to win and help Moxley. Instead, just another bunch of guys who look good but get their asses kicked constantly. They're like the fucking Job Squad, hired to lose to the big stars. It's pathetic. Then Adam Cole cuts a promo, sick of the Don Callis family, want to fight. He calls out one of them for a match. Anyone who's brave enough. I'm worried. Should be Kyle Fletcher versus Adam Cole at All In. No point in him fighting some scrub first. That just makes the Callis guys look even weaker. But if Cole beats one of them on Collision, it's just more proof they're a joke. They're just punching bags. And I hope AEW builds it right. Set up Cole versus Kyle Fletcher at All In. Make it a real fight, not some bullshit filler. That's the kind of story AEW needs. Build the damn matches or it's just hot air. The penultimate match was a fatal four-way between Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa, and Athena. The winner of this gets the first spot in the Women's Casino Battle Royale Gauntlet. And honestly, this was the best match of the night. All the women were hitting moves, flips, dives, quick sequences, and both Statlander and Willow showed their powerhouse wrestlers. Everyone was doing a great job. I appreciated how fast-paced it was, especially with so many matches on the card. Usually matches start slow and pick up, but this one was routing through at full speed, and that made it the highlight for me. Definitely the match of the night. Willow hits a send on Athena. Thunder Rosa pulls off a sick Cazadora and some Lucha Libre-style moves on Statlander. Athena hits a head scissors, and I kept asking myself, why the hell is Athena in this? She's the ROH Women's Champ, just like Bandito in the men's match. So why is she doing double duty? It makes no sense. There's a brutal Tower of Doom spot. Willow throws down all the women and it's chaos. That was the best spot, raw and intense. All the women were throwing everything they had, flips, power moves, quick transitions, and it just clicked. It's proof that if they took these 4 women and built a killer match for All In, it could be a show stealer. Instead, this got cut short because it's on TV, and they don't have a luxury of a full pay-per-view run. During the match, Athena gets double suplexed by Statlander and Willow. I thought to myself, this could have been a pay-per-view main event. It's a shame. These women can do so much more. But AEW's limitations and time constraints cut the match short. Thunder Rosa hits a lightning strike, like a baseball slide stomp, straight onto Statlander. Athena then hits a brutal superplex onto Thunder Rosa off the ring steps. Yeah, a superplex off the steps. Athena also drags Billy Starks out, grabbing the Ring of Honor title to use as a weapon, because why not? Then, the Death Riders show up and cause distraction, and Willow gets hit with a pile driver from Statlander. Yep, she becomes the first entrant into the Women's Casino Gauntlet. Honestly, this match gets 4 stars out of 5 for me, because the ending was a little unpredictable. I was expecting Athena to win, She's the ROH champ, and they could have done a winner-takes-all at All In with Mercedes, Toni Storm, and Athena. Or maybe Willow. She's the second most over woman in the entire company behind Toni Storm. But Thunder Rosa didn't get the pin, probably because she's the one who usually loses, so that was a nice twist. This sets up potential future matches. Willow Nightingale and the Death Riders, or a one-on-one with Marina Shaffer. Those are good directions for All In. The match itself was a showcase of what the women's division can do when they're given a chance. If AEW decides to build on this, they could really elevate the division. But instead, they're still dropping the ball, sending talent like Mariah May and Jade Cargill to WWE because AEW keeps screwing up the women's potential. Now, the main event, Mordo's The Goddamn Gigolo versus Hangman Adam Page. And here's where it all falls apart. The announcers start saying we should question the relationship between Mordo's, the EVP, and the Death Riders. Are you fucking kidding me? Mordo's is supposed to be a bull, yelling like a caveman or a damn bull. So how the hell is he allied with anyone? And isn't he part of LFI with Rish Jaglistico and Jake the Snake Roberts? That whole thing just threw continuity out the window and added confusion to the front door. Hangman does a head scissors. Hangman hits a top rope lariat and a fallaway slam into the ring post. They exchange forearms. Hangman hits a powerbomb. Mordo's does a tornado dive through the middle ropes and later a pop-up Samoan drop. Hangman then hits a poison rana, ambush shot lariat, classic. And just like Blake Christian, AR Fox, Roderick Strong, and just like how he fucked Sasha Banks, Mordo's is on his back. This match, 2 out of 5 stars. Mordo's is a decent wrestler, a good lookador, no doubt. But he's not formidable. He loses all the time. And there's no story here. It's just a random match between him and Hangman, who's chasing the AEW World Championship at All In. The problem? If you're going to build a story, the opponent has to be an obstacle set up by the EVPs with some reason behind it. Not just throwing a guy with no storyline, like Vince McMahon doing a gauntlet for Kofi Kingston before facing Bryan at WrestleMania. That's lazy storytelling, especially with your number one contender. You don't just throw random people in with no build, especially not for the biggest show of the year. That's like Marvel vs. Capcom. 2 dudes in the roster thrown together with zero story, just hoping it works. Lights go out, and suddenly the Young Bucks hit the EVP trigger on Hangman. Moxley comes down, chokes him out with a chain. Then Samoa Joe and the Ops come down and make the save. And then Ospreay shows up. The problem? Swerve isn't there, and a lot of fans misinterpreted that as he doesn't like Hangman. But the real reason? Swerve got suspended earlier after diving onto security guards and the Bucks. They should have shown footage of Swerve being escorted out, threatened with termination if he came back. Would have helped continuity instead of confusing everyone. Or better yet, have Swerve say fuck the rules, come back and save a day. And here's the worst part. Moxley chokes out Hangman with chain. Like that's enough to put him out? Come on. Last year at All Out, Hangman took a powerbomb onto cinder blocks, wrestled a brutal 20-minute death match, and took a ton of damage. Now, Moxley just chain chokes him out, and that's enough? That's bullshit. It's like if Jeff Hardy did hundreds of ladder spots, then got thrown off a stage, he'd get right back up. But Hangman, who's gone through hell and back, gets taken out with a chain choke? It makes no sense. Overall, 2 stars out of 5. The show was full of flaws, more than positives. The only good thing? It moved fast, and I didn't want to fall asleep or get overwhelmed with multi-person matches. The women's division showed some fire tonight, and I'm glad they announced at least one more match for All In. Hangman and Swerve versus the Bucks. That's a match I'd actually want to see if they added hardcore match stipulations, or they made it a 3-on-2 handicap. But they made some stupid choices. They announced the men's and women's casino gauntlet on a fucking tweet. Seriously? Wouldn't it have been smarter to announce it on the show? Get the viewers hyped instead of last-minute bullshit. And if you check the AEW Wikipedia page, there's only one match added this show for All In 7 fucking days before the show. Usually, they have 12 matches planned. So, no wonder the build is weak, and the crowd is dying. Only about 2,500 people in an arena that should hold 6,000 in Kent, Washington. They're doing double tapings. So instead of 12,000 over 2 nights, they're scraping up 2,500 for 4 hours of taping. AEW needs to do better if they want to make money. Fire Kenny Omega as head booker of the women's division. Remove some power from Tony Khan. Start firing writers, pushing storylines, and building unpredictability. Because right now, they're just throwing matches together with no rhyme or reason, and it shows. And here's the kicker. Texas Stadium should have been a test run. If they could sell 40,000 plus tickets for All In, they'd be ready for Wembley 2026. But no, because of terrible booking and low draw, they'll probably downgrade to a smaller arena, maybe get 12,000 people, and call it success just like Grand Slam Australia. That's the real tragedy. They're planning for Wembley, but they're nowhere near ready. They're making all the same mistakes, and future big shows will suffer because of it.